Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
See,
Let's give it about 3 minutes so I don't have to keep repeating myself. I've been going all morning since 8 o'clock, so my voice might be going out a little bit, okay?
okay.
So we'll wait for others to join and then I'll just get started, all right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at some students' work, so if you can see my head bopping up and down.
Bopping up and down. Funny. Someone joined or something. All right. Oh, never mind. Goodness. Anna.
Yeah.
So it didn't work this morning.
No.
What didn't work?
So I was trying to get her to join Mr. Collier's Zoom meeting, but yeah.
Is mine easy to join?
Yeah, yours doesn't include a password because Mr. Collier includes a password.
Yeah, I'm gonna have, you're not the only ones that have said that. 2 other people have said the same thing. If he does not provide the straight direct link on Edsby, you have to put a password in and that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you also have to put the ID in, and after that, it would say open Zoom, and then after that, it would say meeting password. Type in meeting password, and so it worked for me fine. And the only thing that Anna needs to do if she wants to join Mr. Collier's Zoom meetings, is she has to get a account for Zoom. Hey, Bryce.
Hello.
Hey. Happy April 1st, everyone.
Yeah, it's a joke, all right.
I'm not making a joke. I'm not. My mom doesn't even like April Fool's, or does she like St. Patrick's Day, where if you don't wear a green, someone has to pinch you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So today is only page 80, and that's it.
I'm not talking about today's work until I have more people join. I just said that.
Oh, sorry. I'll mute myself again. Cute. "19 more days until my birthday."
April 4th? No.
No, 19 more days until my birthday.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I need to do something.
My birthday is April 20.
So much. You too.
So, yeah. some people like Bryce, I mean, not Bryce, Josh, say that's not true. Because you know it's on April 4th, right?
Okay, people should have been here already. I'll wait one more minute. What is today? April 1st, right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is page 76. I am not saying that you didn't do this correctly, but there are like 5 of you that have not. So I want to discuss it real quick in our group chat to make sure you did it correctly. This was basically a tool sheet. So what you would have done is you would have done the rough draft here, and then on a separate sheet of notebook paper, you would have rewritten it as a paragraph. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about on a sheet of notebook paper? I know Jaden should, because Jaden and I went through this step by step the other day, because Jaden showed up for the Zoom and I said it very clearly. All right, so let's try this again. Everybody ready? Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know why some of you are muted. Okay. All right. So on page 76, introduce the quote, sample sentence starters for introducing a quote. In the chapter, blah, blah, blah. In the chapter, I wouldn't have cared what you used, what chapter you were using. You went back and you were using evidence from page 69 and 70. So therefore, you may have been using evidence from chapter 12, for example. And they were talking about the working conditions on pages 193. So your sample quote, your sample sentence might have started here. It might have said, in chapter 12, while Liddy is listening to Betsy and I don't remember the other character's name, Amelia, talk about signing the petition, she decides she doesn't want to sign the petition because she's afraid she's going to be blacklisted. That's our conversation from last week. So that might be your first line of your opening paragraph. Then you were supposed to go back to pages 91 to 93 in chapter 12, and you were supposed to take a quote. Now you quote when she doesn't want to sign the petition, and then you end it. Analyze the quote. This is where you explain how the quote supports your idea. So these were examples in the bottom paragraph. So this was a rough draft. Here you start off what you want to talk about, then you give the actual quote, and then down here you end it. You end your paragraph. Those were just examples. This means that you could have said something like, this means that Liddy doesn't want to sign the petition. It shows that she is afraid that if she gets blacklisted, she's not going to get any more money. and she's afraid of getting blacklisted because then she won't have money to pay the debts to get the farm back. So that in a nutshell was how you were supposed to do page 76. But there was no space on here to write all that. This quote has already been given for the example up here. This is the model from chapter 3, and this is the quote from chapter 3. Therefore, you were supposed to pick a quote from chapter 12, if I remember correctly, from the directions to describe. And chapter 12 was them in the bedroom on pages 91 to 93, them in the bedroom talking about signing the petition. Should she sign the petition? Should she not sign the petition? And the reasons why, and you just had to explain yourself. You have to write that paragraph on a sheet of notebook paper, take a picture of it, and submit it onto page 76 assignment. Okay, thumbs up if you understand what I just said. Okay, thank you. Jaden, what is your question?
Joseph texted me for you to let him in.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so back to 76 one more time. This was 76. This was a quote sandwich that we've done this skill in the past in our classroom. This was a model of what I expected. This was a model of what I expected, but this one was chapter 3. Were you supposed to use this page 76 kind of like a rough draft for doing the paragraph I wanted you to write. I wanted you to write a paragraph like this on a separate sheet of notebook paper for page 76. 76 is the model of what I expected, and you were supposed to submit your paragraph that you wrote on a sheet of notebook paper. And your evidence was supposed to come from chapter 12, pages 91 to 93 to make it easier. Now, you could have chosen anything else, something else, but I didn't want you guys to have to do it. I didn't want you to have to think too much. So you could have started off your paragraph in chapter 12. Liddy is talking with Amelia and Betsy in their bedroom. That was the setting. And they are discussing about signing the petition. Amelia says she should not sign the petition. Betsy said she should sign the petition, so she has a voice. Liddy chooses not to sign the petition because she's afraid of getting blacklisted. And then you go on to analyze you give the quote from the text in the middle of your paragraph. And then at the end, you explain why you chose that quote. This means that Liddy does not want to sign the petition because if she gets blacklisted, she will not be able to earn money and she will not be able to pay back the debts to get the farm back. And then that would be basically the end of your paragraph. Does everyone understand about, Joseph, you just came in, so I was just worried that you didn't understand. Joseph, do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, so now that you understand 76, we're going to scroll over in our journal to page 80. Page 80. So go ahead and find page 80. And I'm going to share the screen for yesterday's directions on this assignment. All I did yesterday was give you the assignment to prepare for today. That's all I did. I'm going to share the screen. Give me just a moment. And page 80, connecting reasons to evidence practice. Okay, so the directions said you will do today's assignment just like the quote sandwich on page 76. So now you guys know I was talking about page 76. We will discuss on Wednesday's Zoom session, so be prepared by having it complete. That's what I told you. You were supposed to use this quote. So today, I gave you the quote. You didn't even have to go find it. I gave you the quote I wanted you to use. She woke in the night puzzled. She thought she had heard Betsy again, that wretched hacking sound that sawed through her ribcage straight into her heart. And then she was wide awake and knew it had to be Rachel. So I'm going to copy and paste this quote into our chat box, okay? Copy and paste. And I am going to back to the stop share. Here is the quote that we're focusing on today, and I just put it in the chat box so everyone can see it, and it's right there. So your job was, let's read the directions on page 80. Use our anchor chart and your graphic organizer to complete the following sentences out loud with your partner. You don't need to write, just talk. That means we're in a group chat right now. So in the chapter, what chapter did this come from? Does anybody remember what chapter this quote comes from? Really? You can't look at your chapter notes and know when Rachel was hacking in the middle of the night and blah, blah, blah. Liddy is scared for her sister. She's scared that her sister is going to die. No one knows what chapter this is from, seriously.
I do.
Then you better say it.
Oh, it's chapter 17.
Yes, because last night you were already supposed to do this page. You were supposed to come to group session today with this page prepared. So your job at the top of page 80, the very first blanks, it says in chapter what? So in chapter what? What chapter are we talking about?
17.
Everybody.
17.
17. In chapter 17, Liddy is taking care of Rachel. Rachel has become a doffer at the mill, something like that. And while Rachel is working as a doffer, she becomes sick. When she gets sick and starts coughing in the middle of the night, who does this remind Liddy of?
Betsy.
Who?
Betsy.
That is correct. So in the first part of page 80, if you didn't get that done yesterday or you're correcting your work, let's go ahead and start doing that now. I'm going to type what we just discussed in the chat box, okay? So give me a minute and I'll start typing it. In chapter 12, Liddy is now taking care.
Oh, aren't we talking about 17?
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Jaden. Appreciate it. Sorry about that.
No problem.
In chapter 17, Liddy is now taking care of Rachel. She gets her job, she gets her a job as a doffer at the mill. Rachel gets sick and starts coughing like who?
Like Betsy.
Okay.
Betsy.
Coughing like Betsy. Rachel is worried. Wait, not Rachel.
Liddy.
Liddy is worried about what? What is Liddy worried about?
That she's gonna lose her.
Is worried that Rachel could
139, Joseph.
die. And you said that the quote was on page 139. That's right. But we're not ready for that yet. Because that's already, the quote goes where? Is the quote going to be first?
The second.
The quote goes in the middle.
Yeah.
So you introduce the quote. And when you're doing something in writing class, you introduce it, you quote, and then you give some more analysis. You give your own commentary. Okay, so that is what I have for the beginning. On page 80, I have in chapter 17, Liddy is now taking care of Rachel. She gets her job as a doffer at the mill. Rachel gets sick and starts coughing like Betsy. Liddy is worried that Rachel could die. Okay, thumbs up on your screen. Hit the little reaction button for thumbs up when you're done with the top of page 80. You should have a little reaction button at the bottom of your screen. Okay, Joseph's done with his. Anna,
Yep.
is yours done? Okay, good. All right. So now, what should you have written, Bryce? What should you have in the middle of page 80 where it says include the quote? What's the quote?
I don't know.
You don't know?
my
It's not
gosh.
written in the chat box first thing?
Oh, I put it on the top.
In your chat box, I put the quote before we even started the lesson.
Oh, that she woke up in the night puzzled. She thought she had heard Betsy again, that wretched hacking sound that sawed through her rib cage straight into her heart, and then she was wide awake and knew it had to be Rachel.
Okay, so that you should have in the middle of page 80, where it says the blank that says, right here where it says include the quote, that's where you write the quote. If you were writing this on a sheet of notebook paper, you would have introduced the quote first, included the quote, and then we're going to analyze. So if you did not write the quote, you need to write the quote in this space right now, okay? If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
did not already write the quote here, please write it right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Need more lead.
Okay, thumbs up when you are done writing that quote, please. Thumbs up when you're done writing that quote, please.
Almost done.
Okay,
Only one sentence left.
that's okay. It's just like we would do in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
Except you guys would be in your groups and you would be talking to each other. And that's what you guys are getting ready to do is I'm going to hear some conversation from you guys.
Yeah.
And we need to hurry because I have another Zoom session in 8 minutes.
All right. I'm done.
All right, so now on the bottom of your page, we're going to analyze this quote. I want you guys to kind of flip back to page 76 to see in the bottom bun what were some of the conversation starters they had. So if you use you flip back, analyze the quote, this is where you explain how the quote supports your idea. This shows that Lydia is treated badly even when a bed to sleep in or room of her own. But in this quote, what does this quote show us? What does this quote show us about Rachel and Liddy's relationship?
That
Go with your gut, Bryce.
I think it's because they both got sick, and like it's like giving Liddy her memory about like what happened to Betsy.
Okay. And
And
would you think because she got sick that would make her more nervous?
no,
It wouldn't make Liddy more nervous?
It would, because since her friend Betsy is coughing, she was nervous, and when her own sister was coughing, she was super nervous
And
about her.
now let's tag into what Bryce said. Bryce said he had a relationship that Liddy got sick, and Liddy remembered that she was so sick that she couldn't even function. She couldn't even get up and go to work. But let's also remember earlier in the book, did Liddy say that she herself was strong and a hard worker and Rachel was not strong?
Yeah.
So because her own sister is not strong, is she even more afraid or more worried now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did Liddy almost die from her infection?
Yes.
Yes.
She did. And she was a stronger body than her sister. So would she worry more about Rachel, knowing Rachel was not that strong and she's not very old. She's only like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you start writing this bottom quote, when we're analyzing, you might want to say something to the effect of, well, let me just start typing what Bryce said, and I'm going to talk about it while I'm typing it. The analysis was, and this is the bottom of page 80. Does everyone know where we are?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
The bottom of page 80, when we analyze the quote, this shows that Liddy is super worried about Rachel. I think that's what Bryce basically said, right?
Yeah.
And then we would add more information. Liddy compares this to herself and Betsy, because you guys said that. She thinks that because Rachel is young and not as strong as she is, Rachel could actually
Die.
die. Okay. Did I forget something? Do I need to add something to that? Or do you have something in your workbook you already wrote that you want me to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thumbs up when you're done, or keep adding. You guys know you can type in the chat too. It doesn't have to be just me. You guys can add something in the chat if you want. All right, guys. So if you saw today's expectations, you had your check into Edsby. True or false, did you check in? Which is very easy. Vocab quick sketches, and coming to a Zoom session to discuss page 80. So that means that that's all that's required of you today in my class. That means you have extra time today to go back and finish any late work. And to finish late work, that means you go under reading my work, click on the tab that says assessments, and scroll down and see if there's anything that's overdue, and get it done and turn it in. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Is there gonna be you know what? Never mind.
Okay. Don't forget your Brightfish minutes also. Just
Yep.
keeping you up to date, guys. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions?
No.
Ma'am.
No? Okay. Well, give me a thumbs up to let me know you finished the bottom of page 80.
Come on.
Okay, there you go. All right. So we're going to end the meeting, and I will see you guys tomorrow, okay?
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.